Hey guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Lionheart. It's Elton Inheart 16, and we are here with season 2 of 7 Levels. This is episode 3. I'm really excited to have this interview today. But I hope you guys took some time to watch the interview last week. Last week's interview should be posted somewhere up here with Lucky Wolf. We got to talk about a lot of awesome, really cool things, and I hope you guys go back and watch it. As always, I just want to take a second to say thank you so much for reaching out to me when you guys do. And telling me people that I can go and look to interview. That's like the only way this channel is going to keep going. I only know so many people, guys, so like I can only keep interviewing people if you guys tell me who to interview. And if you guys are telling people check out the 7 levels thing, it's something you guys would be good at. Like, go tell your favorite streamer that there's a place for them to talk for hours on end or whatever, and maybe they'll see if they want to do it. And I'm excited about it, the future of this. I'm really excited about season 2, and it's all really thanks to you guys, and so I really appreciate that. With that being said, I'm super excited to introduce you guys to our contestant today, our interviewee today. But welcome to the show, PinkBritters. Hey, PinkBritters, how you doing?
Hey, it's good to see you. How
Good to
are you
see you
doing?
too. I'm good. Thank you so much for doing the show. I really appreciate it. Before we get started, do you go by PinkBritters? Do you go by Pink? Do you go by Brit? What should I call you today?
Honestly, it depends. I go by Pink or Brit, so I guess Brit works. That
Okay.
works for me.
I might
Yeah,
I might change it up throughout the show, but it'll be some form of Pink or Brit
no
or PinkBritters.
problem.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I really appreciate. I reached out to you on Twitter, and you were very quick to say that this is something you'd be interested in, and I'm so excited that you feel that way. Go ahead and take a second to introduce yourself and tell the people what they might find if they hop on over to your channel.
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, so you guys know, I'm PinkBritters, also go by Pink or Brit, and really I started Twitch doing mainly Pokemon Unite. I've kind of been still within that Pokemon realm, or playing like Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl that just came out, Legends Arceus. So a lot of Pokemon content, but also working or playing a few like Nintendo games as well. Been playing some Mario Kart, some Legends of Zelda recently as well, and having a good time with that. So kind of just doing a little bit with a Nintendo. But yeah, I basically do mainly streaming. I have actually started a YouTube channel recently as well. So working on that as well. And you can also find me on Twitter and on Instagram as well on those socials. And yeah, it's good to see you guys.
Well, yeah. So I've actually been in a couple of your lobbies on Unite, and they've been really fun. Usually it's like late night or something like that, or well, late night for me, I think. And then hopped in, and what do you think? At the time this video dropped, the latest Pokemon is Duraludon. What do you feel? How you feel about Duraludon?
So I haven't actually tried Duraludon yet. I think it's a good addition, but the problem I think that they're having in the game, I think at the moment, is that it's having a few bugs just due to having it being released. So, yeah, I don't know where that's coming from. Maybe it was rushed out too quickly, or I'm not too sure. But I haven't had the chance to play it yet because it's been just, a little on the buggy side. So I've been worried about playing it recently. But I think it's a good addition. I feel like a lot of people are having fun with it at the moment.
Yeah, it's been like infuriating to try to play. Like, I tried to stream it the other day. I had a lobby, like a bunch of people that wanted to hop in and filter out and everything like that. And then I had to basically after every game full reset after every game.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
And then even logging into the game, I've had to pick my character once the load screen shits, back out, and then come in. And then I usually miss like the first level or two. Like, I walk in at like level 5 or whatever. I'm just
Yeah.
like my team's probably flaming me and everything like that. Like, but
Yeah, it's pretty insane since it's been released.
yeah, I hope
Not
they
gonna
fix
lie.
it. But so, I mean, speaking of bugs and stuff like that, something super interesting. You are a software engineer. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
So I am a software engineer. I've been, I think, working at my job for a little over a year now, so pretty, new in that field. But I've been basically coding since I was 11. When I was younger, I used to code like I don't know why I was doing this. Like, for what reason was I like learning how to do? I think it was C sharp was what I was trying to learn. Yeah, I don't know, but I was learning that when I was 11, and I honestly had like a really good passion behind it, and I really enjoyed it too, which is, strange for like someone so young, but I really enjoyed it. And I think once I started like grew up and trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I still had that passion behind me, just from like starting super young. And I mean, nothing that I made obviously when I was younger was anything to be proud of. It was just very basic stuff, but it did spark that passion. So I started. I ended up picking it up in college as a college major. And honestly, I loved it. It was definitely challenging, learning in college. Like, it was definitely, I would say, like, not the easiest course to take, but I had a good time, and I think it's worth it. It's definitely something I always wanted to do, and, yeah, now I'm, like, loving my job. I'm, uh, yeah, having such a good time with it so far, and, yeah.
That's really awesome. Without giving away, I mean, too many personal details, I guess. Like, what is it?
Mhm.
What is a day to day life of being a software engineer? Like, what, like when you show up to work, what do you expect that you're gonna be doing that day?
So yeah, when I show up to work, basically, we have like what's called like a stand-up meeting. So we just talk about like what we did yesterday and what we were doing the next day. And basically, if you guys, I don't know if you might know what I'm working with, but I usually do like front end development. So I work with like React, using JavaScript, and it's yeah, I usually just do that. You're basically assigned like tasks each day. So you're basically like, so we have like 2 week sprints. So by the end of the 2 weeks, you're supposed to have all these tasks done, and they're spread out like over the course of like, I think it's like 8 days or something like that, or 9 days, something
Mm,
like that. But yeah, it's pretty. It keeps me on track, which is nice, and yeah, it's pretty much most of what we do.
mm. So,
Yeah.
so are you? I guess software engineering. If you had to like explain it to like your grandma, how would you explain it?
Oh my gosh. I don't know how would I explain it. I mean, uh, that's a tough one. I don't know. I don't know how to explain that.
That's fair, because I imagine. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a reason why it's a full course out of college because it's so much information to take
it's
in
so
and everything.
complex.
But
Yeah.
yeah, well, I'm glad you're in a full time job that you really enjoy because it seems like most of the time in the stream setup, it's like people that work a full time job just so that they can stream at the end of the day. So it's good to hear from someone who like really enjoys their job and can
Yeah,
come and
absolutely.
still enjoy streaming and stuff like that. And so, well. What we are here to do today is play 7 levels. So, PinkBritters, I'm gonna take a second to explain to everybody how 7 levels works, and then we're gonna dive right in. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Cool. So everybody, 7 levels is something that I made up about a year ago because I was so interested in providing something for the Twitch community that could help streamers really have a platform to talk about themselves because most of the time the situation in streaming is like bam bam bam, you gotta you don't really have a lot of time to focus on one topic for a long time because people come in and out of stream, people say hi, people tell you something, people tell you this, people that something happens in the game. There's almost always a reason why the subject changes. So most conversations in a Twitch chat last for like about a minute. So I wanted to give streamers a platform where they could talk unlimitedly. So I'm really excited to be doing this interview today with 7 levels. And with that being said, PinkBritters, are you ready for level one?
Think I'm ready.
You
Yeah,
ready?
let's
Okay.
do it.
Oh, I guess I forgot to mention each question. We're gonna start off real shallow and then work our way, get deeper and deeper. And the only goal of the day is that we have a good conversation. And I know we're gonna have one today, PinkBritters. So, okay, here we are, level one. This would be cool to ask a software engineer. Do you have a favorite number?
Yes, my favorite number is actually 17.
17. How come? Oop, I'm sorry. Drop my phone.
You're good. So I guess, when you're young and they place or they give you like a number because of like your last name. Every single year I was number 17, and it just kind of stuck. And I'm starting to realize, like, as I'm like getting older, like that number is just showing up everywhere. So I actually, when I play Super Smash Bros, I found out my main is actually number 17 that was added, which was like the craziest thing. It's Zelda, if you don't know.
Oh
But
wow.
I was like, whoa, that's so weird. And like this keeps popping up in like random situations where like 17 just like correlates with me, and it's weird. I don't know why, but that's my number. It's my lucky number.
That is really cool. I love that.
Yeah.
And hey, we got some 16, 17. There we go. So
Oh, there we go. That's awesome.
actually, so 13 is actually my favorite number, but 16's
13.
16's got a long
Interesting.
story behind it. But
I see.
so that is really interesting actually that it keeps popping up. Do you think you look for it, or do you think it is actually popping up?
It could be kind of both. Like I know there's like this thing where like you almost like manifest things like if you like think about it long enough or it's something like in that
Right.
realm.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
could be that too, but I think most of the time it's like coincidence for me.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Do you think you're gonna have 17 kids?
No. I don't think so. I don't know about that.
I'm just kidding. Well, awesome. That's level one. Good job. Feeling all right?
I think so, yeah.
Good, good, good. Well, here we are, level two. Did you have a favorite teacher growing up?
A favorite teacher. Oh, that's a tough one. Okay, let's think. I would say my favorite teacher was yeah, in my senior year, I took a AP computer science course and I had a teacher who was almost like my mentor in a way because she was also a female who did software engineering. And if you didn't know, like software engineering is more of like a male dominated field for the most part, or usually has been. So, and basically in my class, I was like one of the only like women in that class in my high school like senior class. So yeah, it was a little I know it was hard to transition into something like that,
Yeah, I'm
and
sure.
having like a mentor like that and who was just like someone I can look up to was really awesome. So I would say that'd be like my favorite teacher, definitely.
Yeah, that is, I was thinking about asking you that in your icebreaker question, but I didn't want to make it like sound like too much of like I'm gonna be asking you like crazy political things most of the time or anything like that. But
Yeah.
I am really curious how it's felt now that you're actually in the field as
hmm
like a as a woman in a software engineering field. Do you feel like how's work in that realm?
Yeah, so the job that I'm in, they are very open to like accepting women in like these like even like leadership positions and everything, which is something I honestly was like looking for when I was like applying for jobs. Like when I was interviewing, I even like turned down some jobs because I just felt like they didn't like, they didn't trust in my abilities enough because I was like a woman and like you can cut I just kind of got that vibe. So when I interviewed with the company I'm at now, like they were so happy to have me. They I don't know, they were really accepting of me, which was something that was like I never really got. Even in like college too, it was really like tough, trying to, just compete with like a lot of these other like men who usually like can um I don't know, because it's just hard being like the only woman in a lot of the classes I was in. And getting like finding like partners to do schoolwork with is very difficult. So it was really important for me when finding a full-time job to like make sure that they had that, like, respect for me. So that was pretty huge.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's been good.
that is really good.
Mhm.
Have you ever felt like you've had to like prove yourself?
All the time. Yeah, all the time. Oh my goodness. And that's like the one thing that made me like that almost pushed me harder in like college and everything when learning in my degree because I just felt like I had to like work a little bit harder than most people and like just prove to myself, even to my professors even that I can like, I can code and I know what I'm doing and yeah, so it was pretty tough, but I definitely made it work.
Mm. I think Twitch is really valuable for this thing in particular, and it's like, especially in this Pokemon community, especially in my last interview, Lucky Wolf, she's very good at Pokemon VGC, and you're really good at Pokemon Unite, and
Thanks.
but so are all of the other like female Pokemon streamers that are playing like Pokemon Unite. Most of them are getting into Masters, right? And so
hmm
I think it's a really interesting thing to see how Twitch is enabling um, like confidence on multiple ways without the detriment of like you can only be good at video games like if as a girl if you don't value like your presence, you know what I mean, because I feel like that was
hmm
the old thing, like there was like if you're gonna be a nerdy girl you have to fall into this category,
Yeah.
like even if that's not a wall you naturally like set for yourself, like even if you don't prefer this style, we're gonna set that for you. And I feel like Twitch is like no, like anyone can
Mhm.
play any video game and be successful at it if they practice it and get good at it. So, um,
Exactly. That's
yeah.
right.
So it's interesting that you're actually um, proving that on two fronts. You prove it on your day to day job, and you prove it in stream and everything like that. So
Mhm.
keep on going because you're doing a good thing. You're doing a good thing.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. So that's level 2. Good job. Level 3. Which celebrity do you admire the most?
Oh, wow. Okay. Celebrity. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know any celebrities off the top of my head. Um,
So growing up, did you have one you looked up to, or like a
mm,
show that you like, or like a character you really enjoyed watching or anything?
I'm thinking. I don't think I've ever looked up to a celebrity before. I don't know what it is. Um,
Hey,
I'm trying to.
that's a fair point, to be honest. Like,
Yeah. I'm trying to think of one, but yeah, in general, I've never actually looked up to like a celebrity. I've just always, you know, tried. I never took inspiration from anyone who's like, maybe like more popular, if that makes sense. I just always just done what I thought was right and just being myself. And I've never really had like thought of a celebrity as like a role model. Makes sense.
mm, okay, then
Yeah.
who would you consider a role model for you then?
So a role model for me would be I would say mainly I would say my professors in college were usually my role models, teachers, anyone who was like higher up, even at my job now, like the senior engineers are the role models. Like I'm always just striving to like, get to like the level that they're at in terms of like either skill or just, management and all that. Like just trying to, better myself just by looking up to those types of role models.
You
So
know,
that's usually what I would strive towards.
I think that's a really important thing to say. Uh, the I actually sometimes struggle asking that question because I know it can come across as as like a weird level of idolatry, like like how much of your worth are you drawing for something that's like unrealistic or something like that,
Mhm. Right.
and so I think that is really important that that the younger generation finds uh people they admire that are like obtainably in their life, like you said, like teachers, someone that you can actually talk to,
Yeah.
someone you can
Mhm.
actually like know, someone you can actually meet. um so that's pretty cool. Do you think that's like do you think a lot of people, how would you consider that a rare thing, or do you think it's pretty common that people don't look up to celebrities? Which way do you think it
I
goes?
I mean, I would say it's a rare thing, even like you mentioning that, like what celebrity you look up to. I'm sure that like most people can't answer that question, but I guess for me, like what you were saying is like I look up to like real role models, like the people I can like speak to and like learn from and yeah, I get experience through or like have as a mentor if that makes sense. Like
Mm,
those are my role models. It's never really like a celebrity I would like try to strive to be.
mm.
Yeah, and it's a very different approach, but
Well, let me look at the questions I picked for you because I think this is going to come up later. So I don't want to ask it now if I have it set to come up later.
okay.
Oh, it's actually the next question. So this goes really well. So
Okay.
PinkBritters, very good. That is question level 1, 2, and 3, and we are going into level 4. And so just so you know, typically now is when the conversations get a little bit longer, they're a little bit deeper. Usually 4 is like the turning point where things get a little bit more intense. I'll probably ask a little bit
Mhm.
more follow-up questions, and I'll probably seek for deeper things from you. So
Right.
level 4, what values do you think you were taught as a child that you still think are important today?
That's a really good question. I think I mean, this is kind of a generic one, but really just being yourself was something I always was and I always stayed true to when I was younger. Because being yourself can really go a long way. Individuality, uniqueness, like that really sets yourself apart from like everyone else, and like that you will never be like a clone copy of someone else no matter how hard you try. You are just going to be yourself. And I was taught that like a very young age, and to like that day I never tried to be anyone but myself. And I think that's really what helped me like, thrive and think mainly for myself. And just kind of I don't know, just yeah, that's pretty much it.
Who taught you that?
So I guess mainly how I grew up, like my parents for the most part. I guess even some teachers as well. But yeah, it's more something that I kind of like, just held true to myself in a way. And I really think that's how I've been able to, just like us like what we were just talking about earlier, like, in a field where like for software engineering, like you're just with all these like different I guess you're like I'm basically isolated in that way, but like as long as I'm like true to myself and like just being myself, like that really does go a long way and it shows.
Yeah. So, do you think that if, you know, your parents' support for you, um, would you consider it like, unending?
Um
In the context of being yourself.
I think I'm still trying to figure out what you're asking from that one.
So if basically what I want to know is like hypothetically, I mean, it sounds like um your passions led you in a way that it made it like, it was clear that you were going to pursue this software engineer thing since like uh you know since your
Mhm.
interest peaked about it in high school. I wonder if that was something different. Like, do you think there's a realm in which they would have pushed you to like not be yourself or like not follow your interests? Like, let's say it was,
Mhm.
you know, skateboarding or something, like
Yeah,
or
right.
like or something off the top of my head.
Mhm.
Do you think you still would have been influenced to be yourself?
Um Yeah, I mean, there's always times where like even like friends would like push you to like be a certain way or act different. But yeah, I think I mean most of the time I would just, I still held my like my own morals and what I thought was right for myself, and I still kind of like keep true to that, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, that's a tough question to answer.
Yeah.
Um
So in the Twitch world, you
mhm,
have thousands of peers and coworkers essentially
mhm,
around you, and then you can see certain models of success for certain people by doing certain things. Um, uh, do you ever feel like the competition of success on Twitch has like compromised your pursuit of integrity?
no, I don't think so. When I started streaming, basically my only goal was to, find friends who wanted to just play Pokemon Unite with me. Maybe like no matter how big the group was, like as long as like someone, wanted to hang out with me and play, I was that's really what my goal was when I started. And it still is my goal, just building a community of like people to like hang out with, play games with, just vibe or chill on Discord with, just that was like my initial goal. It was never really to like, like seem or like numbers weren't really like a factor, I guess, in most like in my Twitch endeavor, I guess. So yeah, that's a I never and I guess essentially compromised myself for any of that. I've always just been myself the entire way, and I think yeah, that's really what pretty much what I value the most.
Hmm, that's great. Um, do you think you surround yourself with people like that, or do you feel like you can tell that you like stand out in that way? Because integrity is a weird thing. Integrity is a really weird thing.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
everyone kind of has their own realm of integrity, but even though because integrity as a concept is pretty black and white, it's like this idea that you do the right thing when no one's looking, uh
Right. Mhm.
and you don't change that no matter like what the consequences are of changing.
Mhm.
but the I guess the problem is that people define good and bad differently, and so that's when integrity gets morphed differently, right?
Right.
So I wonder, like, do you feel like you have a shared integrity with the people closest to you?
I would say so, absolutely. The friends that I made through streaming they basically hold like the same like values that I do. And it's been really cool meeting like a just like a group of like friends, community members, like everyone that I've met through streaming has held those same ideals that I have. And it's like not often that you do find like people who do share that, at least for me in my personal life. It's very difficult. So like blew my expectations away meeting so many different kinds of people who I guess even then like accepted me for myself too, like literally all of myself, which is like I feel like it doesn't I don't come across that often. I'll be real. So yeah, it was really honestly such a blessing like meeting so many like amazing friends through through Twitch and like through everything else as well.
Do you mind if I dig a little bit on for what you just said about the way you come
Yeah.
across and stuff like that?
Mhm.
How do you feel like how do you feel like you normally come across to people? Like, why do you think it's
Um
tough or anything like that?
I think more so just or I did get this a lot actually when I started streaming. Like yes, people have told me I don't like look like someone that would play like, Pokemon or whatever it may be. Like I did get those kinds of reactions quite a bit and I was kind of taken back by that cuz I mean, like anyone can play Pokemon. Like it's not like, I don't know. But it just I mean, that's why it was really really important to like meet people who like just didn't I don't know, have those like negative like connotations towards you and just kind of like accept you for who you are and like allow you to like show your nerdy side if that makes sense. Like just, be yourself, which is like really important.
Yeah. For the record, I think it is really important that you don't look like the typical
Yeah.
person that would play, because I think I remember when I was in high school, right? Like,
Mhm.
I knew this guy who was like he was already like quirky enough because he was like a really good like hip hop dancer, which was like
Okay.
I live in Oklahoma, and that's like not a thing
Mhm.
that people are good at is like hip hop dancing.
Yeah.
And so he's
Uh-huh.
also like jacked out of his mind because hip hop dancers usually have to be like really like fit and everything. And literally when he was done with his homework in class would get his Pokemon game out and play Pokemon. And I was like sitting there thinking, I was like, I wish I was that confident right there that I could just get my Pokemon out right now and play it and not worry about what
Yeah.
people think about me in that thing. So,
Mhm.
I think it is. That's what I mean when I say I think it's a really good thing that you don't look like a person that would play Pokemon, because I think it's gonna help. Um, it's gonna help the next generation be nerdy, right? Because
Exactly. Yeah.
the world needs nerds. The world needs just like the world needs every other stereotype of that person,
Mhm.
of people. Like we need a little bit of everybody to make the world go round. So um
Exactly.
yeah, I'm glad you don't fit that role. Uh
Yeah.
so yeah. um and I really appreciate your honesty about it, like integrity and stuff like that. And it really, you do come across that way. And I hope you know that you come across in a way
Oh,
that
thank you.
says like, I'm not gonna like not be me. So that
Right.
that's a really good thing. You're teaching, because I don't know if you know this, most of the Twitch viewers are a little bit younger. So you teach people you're teaching others
Mhm.
to have that confidence that I didn't have when I was younger. So I
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
yeah. Well, that was level 4. Great answers, PinkBritters. You're doing great. How you feeling? Doing all right?
Yeah, feeling good.
Good.
Yeah.
Uh, so we are moving to level 5.
Okay.
Um, how much do you plan your future out?
Um, like a million years in advance for me. I am
Really?
like a huge yeah. I always like to have some type of like future goal, I guess, in mind, in general. like always trying to strive towards something. I don't like to settle, if that makes sense. Like I always have to be working towards something. I can be like a bit of, I guess, a bit of a workaholic. Like I always have to be productive, always have to be doing something. So, it doesn't matter what it could be. It could be like a hobby, like maybe like a work goal or something like that. But I always have to be striving towards something. So I always try to set like future goals, like anytime I can.
Mm. So what are some goals that you have right now that you'd be willing to share?
Yeah, so I mean of course like a work goal would be like to get a promotion. So always like, working towards that. And I guess as far as streaming goes, just continuing to build a community, working towards that. And another goal of mine is like I said, I've mentioned I've working on like YouTube. So I want to another goal of mine is to work on maybe editing or try to get better at doing that and just like try to set like little even like mini goals if I can like just trying to work towards being better and yeah.
Okay. So do you we said you plan out like 1,000 years in advance or whatever you said or I heard. And,
Yeah,
so like you have a 5-year goal
a 5-year goal.
or 5-year plan, I should say. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like yes and no. I don't know, like I guess like 5 years. I would say, I mean, just continuing from where I'm at now, just, continue. I mean, obviously, you don't really know where we're going to be 5 years in advance. So, I mean, I just try to, I guess I take it day by day in a way, but also still have those types of goals in mind. And they keep building off of each other. So, like, each year, I will have a completely new, different goal. So, it's like hard to say, like, exactly where like hope to be in like 5 years and all that, but I still take it day by day and kind of see like what happens and from there for the most part.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a series of like things, and you tell me if you like what you think about them. Okay, so like
Okay.
in 5 years, do you think you'll still be streaming?
In 5 years, I hope to be still streaming. Yes.
Okay, in 5 years, are you a homeowner?
No, I'm
In five
not.
years, do you think you'll
But
be a homeowner?
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I hope so. At least as long as the
um,
market allows.
do you mind if I talk about your age? I mean, it's on your Twitter bio.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
it's fine.
you're 23, so you'll be 28
hmm
in 5 years. Do
hmm
you think you'll have a kid in 5 years?
Um, honestly, probably not. I would probably wait a little longer,
Okay.
most likely.
Do you think you will still work full time and stream in 5 years?
It's hard to say. I think it really just depends, but I hope to be still working in software development in 5 years. I don't really plan on straying away from that. So yeah, I'm hoping to, just work on that for the most part.
Hmm, okay.
But yeah, I still do want to keep streaming. I can't anticipate if I will take it full time or not. I guess I haven't thought too much into it.
Yeah.
Just because I am still, newer to streaming and really don't know like too much yet. So,
That's something
um,
I didn't bring that up earlier. I meant to. You are a
mhm,
pretty fresh, like new, like streamer.
mhm.
And so I'm actually your growth is actually pretty impressive. I mean, I think you have
Thank you.
500 on Twitter. Your first couple YouTube videos had like 100 views, and your average one while playing Pokemon is pretty high. Obviously, playing Breath of the Wild is going to drop a little bit, but you should still play Breath of the
Mhm.
Wild because you like that
I
game.
love
So,
Breath of the Wild.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I could easily see you doing a partner push like in a year, like for sure. Um,
I appreciate that. Thank you.
yeah. But that being said, like I think in 5 years, if you have the opportunity to make streaming full time, would you give up software development or software engineering? I mean,
I honestly, just because I worked so hard with software engineering, I honestly don't really plan on giving that up. But again, you don't know where you're gonna be in 5 years. Your priorities could change even. It's just a bunch of things could come up. But I do really love like content creation as well. I do have a passion behind that. I do want to keep growing it. I do want to keep working at it. But again, like it is hard to kind of gauge like what you're gonna do in like years from now, like where my priorities are going to be, like what I focus on and all that.
Mm. Well, maybe I can help. Maybe I help create some thought behind this. So, if you have
Hmm.
these two passions, software engineering and streaming,
Hmm.
in 5 years, what do you think software engineering looks like for you?
In 5 years, I would assume hopefully like a promotion. I hope to, within my company, at least build up to maybe being like a senior software developer, and try to, maybe hope to get a little bit higher up in management. Even like I'm hoping to like grow in that as well. So that'd be one of my, I guess, 5 year goals for work.
Okay, and what would that change about your work lifestyle if you achieved those things?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Like, right now, just because I am a newer developer, I feel like I'm not really, being expected to do too much or like to talk to a lot of people like during my like day to day. Like, basically, I just kind of do my own tasks, turn them in, and like call it a day for the most part. So when I think when you're a senior, you are given a lot more responsibility. You're like in charge of like projects, and you have a lot more on your plate for the most part. So yeah, it could pick up a little bit, but at the same time, like streaming could also pick up as well. So I'm, I guess, a little bit worried even like on how I'm gonna even manage that in the future. But I guess I'll have to figure it out when that time comes.
That's the other side of the question is if what do you think streaming looks like in 5 years?
In 5 years, it again that's hard to tell. It really just depends on where things go. Or I don't even know, like uh, because I did mention I'm working on like YouTube and I'm on Twitch as well. So it depends on like I guess which side picks up a little bit more and kind of seeing like where that could go. And um yeah, I don't really expect much. I don't expect like, to be a partner anytime soon or anything like that. Like I don't have like those kinds of goals. I don't really know what's gonna happen. So again, it just depends on like where I'm at in that time point in time, I guess, for me to make a decision on like what to do from there.
I'm getting the vibe that you don't like working with hypotheticals.
No, I don't. Yeah, it's really difficult.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I guess I'm more just like a logical thinker, and I am also like a planner. So like I don't know. Uh, yeah. It's just. I mean, you can't predict like where things are gonna go, and I can't even pretend to like know where I'm gonna be at. Like, I mean, I could see my priorities like you know changing as things like pick up, and yeah, it just I don't know if I have a good, clear answer and like where I could be in that time.
Mm. Yeah, I actually I feel that way, and maybe you can relate to this. I like to be a logical thinker. I've never had a 5 year plan in my life, but I also feel like I know what's gonna happen at the same time, right? It's like a weird, like,
Yeah.
it's like a weird
Mhm.
level of like passive planning. Like I don't sit down
Right.
and like write my thing out, like write my 5 year out, but I'm like, it'll probably be this. Like, like it's like
Mhm.
you can kind of like assess things the way they are that way. Um, so oh yeah, that's like super interesting. Uh I wanted to let me try to remember. I wanted to try to like dive back on something that you said. Um oh, so in 5 years, if you're a streamer and you like I said, I could easily see you getting a partner push by the end of this year. Um uh your content is good and your chat seems to be really supportive and everything, and even your charity stream that you had the other day was really awesome. So
Thank
in
you.
and yeah, I love charity streamers. That's like I think every streamer that has an option to needs to capitalize on their chance to be a charity streamer. So the fact that you're new to the game and you've made that a point, I really appreciate that about you. So that's really cool. um
Oh, thank you.
yeah. So something, but so in 5 years, if you're a partner this year and 5 years later you're still a partner, you're being a streamer is essentially owning your own business, right?
Mhm.
Is essentially what it is. You're in charge of your own product. You're in charge of your own marketing. You're in charge of your own everything.
Mhm.
So 5 years into, um, 5 years into streaming and 5 years into software engineering, uh, do you think you have what it takes to be a like business owner in or like in management or CEO or
Mhm.
any or these other things you were talking about for software engineering that you actually already are right now as a streamer? Like how do you actually let me give you a easier way to answer this.
Yeah.
What are the qualities that you think you have that would make you a good boss or owner?
Um, what would I think it maybe my um that's a tough one. I don't know. I just um I don't know why I'm blanking on this one.
Probably because I'm asking you to say something nice about yourself, and maybe like do you struggle with that?
Yes. I
Okay.
don't I don't know. Um yeah, I don't know.
Well,
It's a
if
tough
you want to
one.
be a boss at your work, you probably better figure out your
I
strengths and how to tell
know.
people what they are.
Honestly, yeah. Yeah, definitely to work on that.
That's funny because this actually leads into our next question. I had a feeling that this would be what we talk about today. I don't know why, but I just had a feeling.
Mhm.
But so we are gonna go to level 6. But before we get to level 6, Pink Fritters, it's time for our 6th level sub challenge. Uh, Guys, if you've watched this video up to this point, I really appreciate you. I really appreciate the support. I really appreciate you tuning in to watch Pink Fritters. She's been an awesome guest to have on this Gamecast Pod show, whatever you call it, thing today. And so we are doing a 6th level sub challenge, and what that means is if you've watched this far, if you are the first person to get to Pink Britters chat after this video drops and say I made it to level 6, that's going to be a code word for her to DM me and tell me. She's going to tell me your name and I will come to chat and gift you a sub to Pink Britters stream. If you are already a sub, you can do it anyways, and I will gift the community a sub in your honor. And that's just a thank you from me to you for watching this video so far. It's an important video, and so I think people should know that. And so yeah, that's the 6th level sub challenge. So make sure to go over to twitch.tv/. Pink Britters. Do you have any numbers in your name? I don't think you do, right? Yeah. And say the code words are I made it to level 6. So, um with that being said, we're going in the 6th level. You feeling all right, Pink Britters? Doing okay?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
doing all right.
Good. Your 6th level question is, do you ever have poor self-talk?
That is a good question. I guess yes, because I guess for me, I let's see. So I more so build off of like constructive criticism. I like to pinpoint anything I'm doing wrong and try to, fix that. Or if someone, comes reaches out to me and says like, "Oh, something is like off," I will work to fix it. Maybe it's like the perfectionist mindset in me where I, just need to strive to like get things correct and perfect. But I mean, that's obviously not like realistic. Like it's not always gonna be perfect, but yeah, there's going to be, I mean, just a little bit of like negative. There could be negative self talk, but at the same time, like I always counter it with like more positive self talk in a way. Just to kind of like drown out those like any negative like thoughts or emotions that could come out of like just um just like those kinds of thoughts. Like, yeah, I mean, everyone has them, I'm sure. So it's more so just like building more, being more positive and trying to build that up more so than the negative thoughts.
Hmm. So what are some things that you don't talk to yourself very nicely about?
Um, I would say like, for the most part, um, if it's, um, I would say, um, uh, I can't even think of one. I don't like to do that. That's the thing. It's like even if I do have like a thought, I don't act on it or I don't let that affect me. I always try to counter with the positive. I always like to have more of an optimistic way of thinking, and I don't really like to
Mm,
put myself down. I just think that leads to like not very good things, and
yeah,
I think it's better to more have like more of a positive mindset than anything. So that's really what I try to go for.
that is good. That I think that is a very healthy practice. But I wonder though, like, why could why couldn't you? In the last question, it felt like you couldn't tell me good things about you either.
I don't like to talk about myself.
That's what the
I
interview
don't.
is for. That's what we're here for.
I know. That's why these are hard, honestly. Like
Hey, you're doing
I
great. You're doing great. I hope you
thank
know
you.
that.
Yeah, in general, I don't talk about myself often. I'm more, I guess, more of a closed book in that way. I usually don't like to open up, but I mean, interviews kind of do that to you. But yeah, I don't like talk. I don't like. I guess it have more positive self talk, but it's never anything like that's gonna like obviously inflate my ego or anything like that. Like I don't have those kinds of thoughts. It's more just I like to stay grounded, and whether that's it's never like overly positive or overly negative. It's always I just try to stay at like the same level. Please try to get there. Um,
How
and
did you
yeah,
learn how
that's
to do that?
just I guess growing up, that's kind of how I've always been. I never really let like things affect me or I never let myself get too excited or anticipate too much. I've always just been very like grounded, if that
Mm.
makes sense.
So you think it's
Yeah.
like a personality thing? Is this even killness about you? Like you're just kind of neutral.
Probably more of like, just go with the flow and just let things happen and just don't let things get to you or yeah, that's just how I've always, gone through life. So it's hard to tell like where that comes from.
So I have two follow-up questions. I hope I can remember both of them. The first one is, do you think you've ever missed an opportunity because you didn't verbally inflate yourself? Like you didn't present yourself. Well, you know what I mean, I think.
Yeah. No, I would say so because I have seen oftentimes where people would, put themselves out there a little bit more than I would. I'm more reserved in that way. And they would receive maybe like more opportunities than I would for some things, and I wouldn't get that because I didn't, put myself out there enough. And I think with, with streaming and just content creation, like you have no choice but to kind of like put yourself out there in a way. So that's something I honestly had to like, I guess learn as this like went on and all that. I mean, that's not something I ever really used to do. So I had to kind of learn how to like to do that a little bit more. Be a little bit more like I guess like grasp with like opportunities that you want to see yourself having and just kind of work towards that in a way.
Hmm.
So that's something I'm definitely working on.
Hmm. Well, the other one is, do you think there is, or how do you tell when it's inappropriate self-talk and it's actually, or the difference between inappropriate self-talk and actually self-criticism that's like constructive self-criticism?
I guess more so along the lines where it's not any like negative emotions behind it. Like it's more so just recognizing, hey, I could do better if I change something here. Or it's never like anything like, oh, you're doing terrible, like you're not good enough. Like yeah, anyone's good enough if you put in the effort, if you have a more of an optimistic mindset, like you can achieve what you want as long as like you work towards it, put your heart into it, have a passion behind it. Passion is huge. So it's more so just like that's how I think for the most part. So yeah, I don't like to have those negative thoughts or like because they could be flipped around if you work for it.
Yeah, it really does feel like the fine from what I'm hearing from you is like the fine difference is like how emotional are you in your mind. Uh
Right, I think so.
and I think that is really hard, especially for like teenagers, right? Teenagers are like the most emotional
Yeah.
people.
Mhm.
Would you say where would you put yourself on the emotional scale? Like 1 to 10, how emotional are you? Pretty low?
Very low.
Pretty
I'm
low?
not emotional. Like not at all. I'm such like a I feel like I'm almost like a hard head at that in that way. Like I don't know. My emotions are just they're they're never I never let them get any further than they need to be. I'm someone who leads with their head, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I
More so
get
than
it.
the heart.
Yeah. Weird question, but do you cry?
No, I don't.
That's a
Oh, actually, no, that's a lie. One time during stream when, because on my birthday, I had a birthday stream, and my friends from streaming made like a little like video for me, and my
aw.
birthday is like one of the times where like I guess, like, I just don't like because I'm sure you already know I just don't like, attention or, like, self-love or whatever it is, whatever not self-love, but, like, like, affection, like, I know, like, I'm not about that, but, like, it's so heartwarming to see, like, someone, like, put something together for me, and that I cried because I'd never had that, like, ever in my life, so
Mm.
it was a sweet gesture, so that's the only time, but, like, other than that, like, I do not cry. I do not let myself do that. Yeah.
I really relate to you about the birthday thing.
Mhm.
I hate birthdays, and so I'm engaged. Me and my fiance, we have a um like a bridal shower thing come I don't even know what it's called. Some kind of shower thing where
Mhm.
people bring you gifts and everything. And I'm really not wanting to go to it because I don't want to open gifts in front of people. Like
Yeah, I'm like that too. Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
yeah, I hate the idea of it, and I think we should standardize not putting names on gifts because I don't want to open the gift and know who gave it to me, and
Mhm.
have to like weigh my reaction based off of my past relationship with this person or anything like that. It's like there, there's
Yeah.
so much going into it. I'm just like,
Oh my
no,
gosh.
just like shut it down. there
Yeah.
there was a couple years where I talking about birthdays, I tried to do reverse birthdays. And so I would get my friends gifts on my birthday instead. And it's not fiscally responsible. Like I couldn't afford to do it. So I only did it for a couple
Mhm.
years, but it really helped. It really helped deal with this thing. Like I don't want to have a birthday party.
Mhm.
I don't want to do these things. So I really relate to you on this level about the things. But me being like 7 years older than you, uh, I'll let you know like something about like growing up, like you accidentally get more emotional. It's like almost like
Really?
yeah, it's weird. It's like instinctive emotions. And so like me and my fiance, we have a dog together. So
Mhm.
do you have any pets?
No, not yet.
Something about getting a pet makes you more emotional. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is because
Interesting. Mhm.
I just think about my dog random throughout the day, and then sometimes I think about how like if I ever lost him on accident or something like that, and like
I
I can
see.
feel it. I can like start feel myself like like tearing up a little bit. I'm like
Aw.
cut it out. That's not
Yeah.
me. That's like not me. But
Yeah.
so I don't know.
I
I
see.
I don't know what it is, but I have a feeling you will get more emotional as you get older. It seems like we're
Yeah.
pretty similar, but um
Okay.
um yeah. I mean that was a really good conversation right there. I think that was a great level 6 question,
Yeah, definitely.
or discussion I should say. I think it was a I don't know if the
Mhm.
question was any good. The discussion was nice. Um,
Yeah.
so and you answered one of my follow-ups like literally after I asked
Oh,
it. So
really?
yeah, you're like covering all your bases here. You're doing great. But Pink Britters, that brings us down to level 7.
Okay.
Last question of the day. And I'd ask you how you're feeling, but you've already told me you don't feel things, so you're like fine. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
You're not a robot. But congratulations on making it level 7. For those of you that don't know, level 7 is a reoccurring question each season, and it changes. Season one's was what's one thing in the world that you wish you could change, but you don't think you have the power to. And season two's is hopefully equally as cool of a question that yields as great as conversation. So, Pink Britters, you're the third person to answer this question for season 2. How do you deal with the things that you can't control?
Okay, let me sit on this one. You can't control. How do you deal with it? Okay. I think so. something is out of your control, I think it's important to like recognize that it is out of your control. And I think a lot of people, for the most part, try to act on it and like think that they or try to change something to like try to fix it. But no, I think what's most important is recognizing that something is out of your control and it's something that you can't fix by yourself, if that makes sense. And I think that's most important.
Mm,
And yeah, because then if you try to like live in the mindset like, oh, I can like I work harder to like fix this one issue or whatever the thing that you can't control is, it'll kind of just put you in like a constant loop and not really working towards anything at that matter. So I think it's important to recognize that like there's only so much you can control and try not to, I don't know, overextend yourself to try to make things work. Like things will fall into place eventually. Things will just happen and you just kind of have to let it be. You have to accept it for what it is, essentially.
yeah. Um, I think that's so valuable. I think it's important. It's easy enough for us to say these things, but for more emotional people, I think it's really important
Yeah.
to like emotionally address things appropriately. Like if you can't, what's the old saying? Don't cry over spilt milk. You know what I mean? Like whatever that.
Right.
It's
Hmm.
like um it's okay to have emotional reactions as long as you know they are emotional reactions. You can't act on your emotional reactions. You have to act on the
Yes.
logical flow of things. So I think it's important what you just
Hmm.
said, that it's like you really got to know um, what you can and can't do, and you can't get upset about the
Hmm.
things you can't do. So it's great.
Right.
Um,
Exactly that.
is there anything in your life right now that you'd be willing to share that you don't have any control of, that you're just waiting to see that comes to fruition?
I mean, I think like I mean, streaming Twitch is a good example of that. Like you really don't know what's gonna happen with that. So you almost just have to like there's only so much work you can do to like, see anything come from it. If like in a way, like if you have like these set goals, like you can't like as hard as you work like today, like you will not see the results tomorrow, like it's a process. You have to kind of recognize that it is a process and growing and achieving your goals with that. So I think just recognizing that as long as like you still have that passion, you work as hard as you're able to in the time being, you will eventually see progress with that. And I think that's kind of important to recognize as well.
Yeah, yeah. I think. Yep. I completely agree. I completely
Yeah,
agree.
right.
Yeah. Um, well, Pink Britters, this has been a great conversation. Congratulations, you made it through 7 levels. You did so well.
Thank
Like this
you.
was a great
Thank you.
conversation. And here we are, 58 minutes later. Did you even know we talked for that long? That was like, I feel like that
I
flew
had no
by.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely did.
So thank you again so much for being on the show. Go ahead and take a second to tell everybody what you got coming up on your end.
Yeah, sure thing. So, as you guys know, I just recently held a charity stream, which was honestly one of my goals as well when I started streaming. That was a lot of fun. I hope to maybe hold another one in the future as well. And for our Pokemon fans, I'm actually planning on doing my very first Nuzlocke. I think within a couple weeks from now. So, yeah, wish me luck. I've never done one before. That should be an interesting time. So, definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, advice on the Nuzlocke is don't get attached. I tried it in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, and like my starter died at the first gym, and I was like, guys, do I just reset from here? Because I don't want to keep going. Like, yeah, it's
Oh my gosh, no, I feel you.
yeah.
No, I did a baby challenge run recently where my Pokemon had to stay as babies in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl.
Hmm.
One of the baby Pokemon is now our new channel mascot because we loved him so much. And I'm just thinking about that, like in my Nuzlocke, like what if we have another one where we're like obsessed with, and then he just like he goes out, and we're like, oh no, like yeah, I'm worried about that. So that's
Yeah.
something I have to like, really to think about.
Yeah, I watched that baby video. It's funny. It's good. So,
Thank
um,
you.
Well, with that being said, again, thank you so much for giving this a shot, giving this a try. I can't wait for it to go live and for everyone to see it. And if you guys are still watching up to this point, thank you for watching. I hope you guys really enjoyed this conversation that I've had with PinkBritters. And but yeah, PinkBritters, all we have left is say bye to YouTube. So goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for having me.